So how do you feel about tonight?
Well, I thought I was all right until I had the dream 2 nights ago. I was doing my nut over West Ham.
Oh,
And I woke up crying. We can't leave it behind, darling.
No, we can't. No, we take the memories and our spirits with us, don't we? Yeah.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a madness, but it's like positive madness. We're gonna use this energy from the fans.
How are you? But to keep the team up, we sing even more. The team need us to be that 12th man.
It ain't the stadium. It's the people. The people are West Ham.
11 minutes left.
Come on!
West Ham have a free kick. Payet places the ball. The penalty box crowding. Players nudging. Jostling. Here it comes. Manchester United fight back. Can West Ham hang on for this famous victory? What a night for him! What a night for those fans! What a night for football! The cheers will fade, the tears will remain in the memory as the final curtain falls.
It's what West Ham used to be. Not so long ago, that is what West Ham used to be. Back in May 2016, you know, our club, our family club, the team that our great-great-grandparents, our great-grandparents, grandparents, our parents, us, and our children, a club and a way of life that's been passed down through generations, got wiped out. The lights did get turned off that night. They really did. And it's been a slow and steady decline ever since. We had the illusion that or many people had the illusion that we were moving onwards and upwards in that sort of 3-year period after COVID, but not really. You just had a manager that could make the best of a shit situation, and somehow we was dragging ourselves through seasons. We managed to get into Europe. And we won a cup that didn't exist when we were at Upton Park, which now does definitively look to be no more than a dead cat bounce for a club that's on its way out of fucking existence. Certainly the club that we all grew up loving. We're nothing like that club anymore. I don't even know how you get that back. You know, when you went to Upton Park, when you was there, from, you know, the street food sellers to the programme sellers, to the stewards, everyone that worked at the club, everyone was West Ham. Everything was West Ham when you went to Upton Park. It was. We was all as one, all one family. It's been absolutely destroyed. When you look at some of the young faces and the older faces in that video, these are the people that are being targeted this year. You know, the last bit of attack from the club is to weed out the existing fans and the new fans coming in. The people that they want are people like on the fan cam with Nicky Hawkins when he was talking to one of these people, and the two French guys came up with half and half scarves. That's what they want West Ham to be now. It's just football tourism. The game that we love is dying, but more importantly, the club that many of us need it's been ripped away from us, and I think many of us are hanging on to something that has gone. We're in denial. We are. Sullivan killed Birmingham. Absolutely killed them. Gutted them. And he succeeded in doing so with West Ham as well. Probably on a larger scale because we're a bigger club than Birmingham. And what the man has done, I can't put it into words. And what he's continuing to do, his work here is not done yet. Doesn't care about. How can you not care? How can you have owned a club for 10 years to 12 years or whatever it is, or however long he's owned it, and feel like you've got no responsibility whatsoever to the thousands and thousands of people that have got a reliance and a love for what you are the custodian of? How can you not care? What sort of a low-life scumbag have you got to be to not care? And you don't. It's not just an asset. It's not just a property that you're buying. This football club is different. But I don't know how we get this back. I can't stop reminiscing now. I can't. Like I've said before, I watch all of the Robert Banks videos now, more so than ever, because I'm living in the past, because the present I can't face it. And the Iron Men video that you saw there, the clip at the start, you know, I encourage you to go and watch that, because as painful as it is, and you can get that on iTunes, you can go and watch it. It's on Prime at the moment as well. Iron Men, the whole documentary is fantastic. There's far too much of Gold and Sullivan in there. There ain't loads, but there's too much. You even had Gold's face on there at the end. Now look, I know Gold, you know, rest in peace and whatever else, but I'm sorry, they're just as culpable. He was involved in this, so no. He doesn't get a pass. He does not get a pass from me. None of them do. I do think he was a lesser of two evils, and now he's gone. Sullivan is, he can do what he wants, because that is a heartless man. He is a heartless man. This club means everything to so many people. It's heartbreaking. When you listen to John on his call yesterday, that's a guy that is level-headed. He doesn't lose his temper for no reason. But it's upsetting him now, because the club that was passed down to him, he wants to pass down to his son, and he's arriving at a stage now where his boy probably doesn't want to go anymore, and he can see it. And this is, you know, John and his boy go and watch non-league football. They do. They watch all sorts of football, but they can't face going over to watch West Ham. You know, they'd rather watch Hornchurch than West Ham. This is probably where we've arrived now for the majority of our fan base. I've been called in for ages for a boycott, but the truth is the boycott's been happening for quite some time, which is why we've got such a large percentage of tourist fans in there now. So when people say go to the game and we'll start singing for them, you can't. You can't do it, because they're not all West Ham fans that are in there. There's no way. That wasn't a full capacity game yesterday, even though we were playing Liverpool. I reckon over half the people in that stadium were probably Liverpool fans or neutrals. They were Premier League fans. This is where we've arrived. I put that video out the day before the game. Completely idiotic video as it turns out, because there was a small part of me that was wanting to sort of fight back and think that we can do better. You know, like the old West Ham, where you come out and you give the big teams a bloody nose, you know. But I knew deep down that we was going to get spanked. I think every West Ham fan knew that what was going to happen. I just didn't want to accept it. We didn't even turn up. Tactically, the guy set us up to not even try. It was damage limitation from the start. We rolled over. It's the most anti-West Ham thing that you could ever wish to see. And the decline and the downfall of this club is heartbreaking. And I'm getting loads of grief, and you know, we're getting the piss ripped out of us, particularly me, because of the video that I put out. And I deserve it. I deserve to have the piss taken out of me for expecting any more, because the days of dreaming at West Ham are over. The bubble's been burst. We're not going to be causing any more surprises anymore. We are what we are. We're just we're part of that Premier League machine, and the main aim is staying in the Premier League. It's like games on a chart. You look at the big teams, your Arsenals, your Liverpools. We're just fodder. Providing we can beat the teams in and around us and we can maintain our Premier League status, that's all that matters. We're going to bail out of the FA Cup as well on the Friday, because we can't really afford to stay in it when you look at our current state. We've got players playing for us now that don't give a shit, and I can both empathise with the players because they've been sold a pup, but then I can't because they're being paid a fortune, and irrespective of whether or not they are getting what they bought into, whether they were lied to, they're now wearing a shirt of West Ham. They should be playing for the fans at all times. When they're on that pitch, they should be playing for the fans, and they're not. They're mercenaries. You can see it. The effort levels were shocking. To a man, they were all terrible yesterday, and it's happened many times this year. And yes, Loppy did set them up like lambs to a slaughter. We know that. We know that the pre-match team talk was probably the most uninspiring thing known to man. When you look at the way that we were set up, you can only imagine what the pep talk was like. There was no pressing from Bowen through to the midfield, through to the defence. We basically set up a mannequin challenge. And that's not me exaggerating. If you look at large portions of that game, we were stood in a shape. It was like a block shape, but without the block. We weren't blocking anything. Liverpool were cutting through us at will. Any other day, they probably double their scoreline. I mentioned it on a video yesterday before Liverpool scored their first goal. We probably could have been 3-0 or 4-0 down. They could have been 7-0 or 8-0 up at half-time. The only reason that they didn't run away with it in the second half is because they'd won the game. There was no threat. There was no threat. It turned into a training session. Slot made 4 substitutions. Rolled a load of players off, rolled a load of players on. Just an absolute embarrassment. I don't believe for a minute that Bowen is injured. I think he was just disgusted. I think he took his opportunity. He went down, felt something in his ankle. He's like, I've had enough of this. I want to go. And he's probably the one player in that club at the moment that I will give a pass to, because he's been carrying us for a long time. And it's probably breaking his heart watching all this, because he's the closest we've got to Mr. West Ham. I think he's the only player that we've got. You don't need to have come through the academy. You just need to understand the club, understand the fans. I do think that Bowen gets that. I don't believe that he is a leader. That's not his fault. But I do believe he loves the club. And I believe that he gives everything in every minute of every game. And I do actually feel, personally, that he bailed out yesterday. As a lot of fans are bailing out, we're losing our fight. Like I said to you, if you look at the comments on the video, there's a lot of people that put their statements out yesterday, their take on the situation. And I've had it all year long. People, long-term supporters that are walking away from the club, and so many fans now, they're on the turn. They're not going to make it until the end of the season. They're not going to make it. If this has been done by design, and it's been very, very successful from Sullivan in wiping out the legacy West Ham fan base, I think it's worked. There might be a few more that hang on next year. That doesn't mean that stadium's going to be empty, because all the while we're in the Premier League, he's always going to manage to sell tickets to make it worthwhile to him. There's always going to be someone willing to pay £100 for a ticket to go and watch Liverpool, not West Ham, to watch Liverpool or Arsenal or whoever else. Even better if you're going to go and watch Liverpool batter the team that they're playing. If you're a Liverpool fan, why wouldn't you pay £100? So he's always going to manage to sell tickets. More and more supporters now, and I'm not making it up, in terms of direct messages that I got yesterday on WhatsApp. It's heartbreaking. People's kids don't want to go. People's parents, 70, 80 years old, that are lifelong fans, that it's in their DNA. They do not want to go anymore. They're falling out of love with West Ham. And this is the other thing as well. If you go back pre-COVID, that was probably our last chance for fighting back and taking back this club. But I think the fight's gone. I think the fight from the fans is gone. I think we're beat. I think we've been defeated. I don't think there's enough passion there now for a protest, for a full-on protest. I don't think there is. I think it's just this kind of we're like we're all like sheep following this club, hoping for a miracle that something is going to change and happen, but it's not going to. You know, if Lopetegui goes, Potter comes in, and this is another man that's going to divide the fan base. And if he doesn't do well, everyone's going to be on his back. He isn't going to inspire anyone. He isn't going to galvanise the whole club. When you look at the video at the start there, you had Slaven Bilic there, a man that we could all connect with. The fans connected with him. He felt like he was one of us. That was the last time I loved a manager. So where we go from here, I truly, truly don't know. I'm heartbroken with it. You know, I did that phone-in show last night. Normally, it doesn't matter how bad the result is. When it gets to the end of a show and I've blown me top, you know, pressure release, and I've listened to other people say similar stuff, I come off of the show and I feel better. It's cathartic. Didn't feel like that yesterday. Feels like it's gone too far. Now it feels genuinely like it's gone too far, and I don't know what can be done at this stage to reel it back in. What John's talking about is absolutely right, but that's because there is, and that is getting a manager in that's got some semblance of connection with the club, so that we can try and restore some sort of West Hamness back to West Ham again. Just somebody with some connection to the club, but we know they're not going to do that. We're not. They're trying to rip away our heritage. That's all they've done the whole time they've been here. Since we moved from Upton Park, it's been about pissing on the memories and ignoring what we are and moving towards this cold, soulless, corporate franchise venture, which is what we are. That's all we are now. The only thing West Ham about us is the fact that we're playing in claret and blue and we've got the crossed hammers on our shirt. That's it. When you look back to what we had, it's gone. It's gone. And as much as we all enjoyed the cup win in Prague, that is not a fair trade-off for what we've had to give in return. If that's it, there you go. You've had your trophy, your 7th place fucking European trophy that didn't exist when we were at Upton Park. That's your trade-off. Told you I was going to win this trophy that I never knew was going to fucking be there. When we moved, world-class team, world-class stadium, family-friendly football. All the promises are being shat on. And if the rumours are true about Kretinsky being in the process of a 3-year takeover and he's 18 months in, that would explain the length of the sponsorship deals, the naming rights deals, the 2-year deal for Lopetegui, because it all pushes towards that 2-year point where maybe Kretinsky can come in and take over. But I'm not overly impressed with what I'm seeing with Kretinsky either, because let's be honest with ourselves, the concessions pricing and the price increases, that could all be a stipulation of Kretinsky. If he wasn't in favour of it, it wouldn't be rolled out. Maybe this was all part of the deal. You need to remove concessions and you need to push the prices up before, and you've got to take the hit on that before I actually take over. So we're more than likely getting another shark that's going to come in and take over this club. I'm not impressed with him either. Where is he? He's part of this as far as I'm concerned. I know he's not the majority shareholder, but where the fuck is he? Does he care? No, he obviously doesn't care. You know, there isn't going to be much left of the West Ham that you bought, mate. If this is true and there is a takeover going through, there ain't going to be much left. There's a thin line between love and hate, and it takes a long time, doesn't matter what you're doing, to build up a loyal following that love you. It takes a long time. You know, over 100 years in West Ham's case. But as it materialises, it doesn't take a long time to smash it to pieces. It's taken Sullivan just over a decade, and he's ripped West Ham away from a lot of people, and he's in the process of ripping it away from the people that remain. And he doesn't care because he just thinks that there are more out there. There's more. There's more where they came from. And they won't be holding Upton Park against me because they was never there. They was never part of it. It's the coldest thing I've ever seen. He is a Bond villain. He looks like one, and he is one. Heartless. So where we go from here, I don't know. You know, well, I know where we go from here. We go to Man City and we get absolutely embarrassed again. They get really back into the flow of things. Probably not 4 and 5 past us. Because as I said, you know, the games, Newcastle aside, let's face it, we had a large slice of luck against Newcastle. Newcastle could have been 2 or 3 goals up at half-time. They could have been, but we did play well in that game. We did excel. But basically, moving forwards, I now know, don't get your hopes up. When you're playing a big team, we're going to get beat. There's no point thinking, hoping, or expecting for anything else. When you're playing teams in and around you, you're going to be cautious. You're just going to try and grind out a result because it's the result and the point or the points are all that matter. Proven by drawing at Brighton and Bournemouth, and then for the last 15, 20 minutes, desperately trying to hang on to the point whilst our opponent is trying to go for the win. We're settling for the point because our Premier League season is run on a fucking spreadsheet. And the teams below us, the same thing. You know, once you get in front, shut up shop and just keep it. It doesn't matter how small that gap is. Against Southampton, we were lucky to get anything out of. The whole season, the whole year has been terrible. It isn't just under Lopetegui. This whole calendar year, we've had thumping after thumping after thumping. We had it under Moyes. You've seen the video that I made of him when he left. You know, the comical video where it was battering after battering after battering. It's just continued under Lopetegui. The decline is monumental. And this has all been overseen by Sullivan. Now, he's either a brilliant villain, and this is all by design, and he knows what he's doing, and it is all to flush out the legacy fan. And once he's got his wicked way, it will click into gear and, you know, we'll start getting the right manager in, we'll start getting the right players in, playing good, sexy football, by which time he can charge people what he wants. Or he's completely and utterly useless at his job. And he needs to go. Either way, he needs to go. But me personally, from a personal perspective, I don't know where I am with West Ham anymore. I clearly do still feel a lot for the club. I do, because I wasn't expecting the meltdown that I had yesterday. I was disappointed with myself. I'm still disappointed with myself. Now I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that I allowed myself to get that angry on screen. Because I don't deserve that sort of passion. We don't get it on the pitch. Why do they deserve that from us? Why do they deserve that level of commitment from us? Why do we give a fuck when they don't? So I am embarrassed with myself for doing that now. I've done it several times before, but I wanted to stop. I wanted to try and stop, but unfortunately, I can't. I can pretend all I want that I don't care, but I do. And this whole situation's breaking my fucking heart. And I know it is all of you as well. I just don't know what happens next. I just hope something happens. I do. I don't know who I wish this job on. I want Lopetegui absolutely has to go. You know, he's more than run his course. And whoever comes in next has got the mother of all jobs on his hands, but something's got to be done. Everything's wrong about it. The timing's all wrong. Because bringing a manager in now, with the run of games that we've got coming up, with the squad in the state that it's in, the mental state, it's an impossible job. But what do? Do you just do nothing? Probably. That's probably what we'll do. Just going to accept our fate because Sullivan doesn't care. You saw him sitting there reclined in his Moncler puffer jacket yesterday next to some other odd-looking character. We saw that. He doesn't care. All he cares about is that his large stadium is mostly full. You know, this is why I've been calling for the boycott of that place and not relisting your ticket. And it is rich for me to say that because I don't have a season ticket. I haven't paid my hard-earned money out. It shouldn't be me telling you. I'm hoping that somebody else does step up. And I think we're not far away from that happening. It will happen. It will happen. But by the time it happens, the season's going to be dead. It's going to be done. You're almost going to arrive at the stage where it's going to be pointless doing that. What you know, if 2/3 of the season gone, what are you boycotting for at that stage? The season's gone. You know, what do you expect to happen? What do you expect to change? Even now, we're 7-8 points off the European places with a positive change and some positive recruitment in January. Any other club could be thinking to themselves, you're going to push on, but we know that ain't going to be the case. All that we're likely to do is lose the bit of stardust that we had on the pitch yesterday. And don't get it mixed up. I'm standing behind what I said. Kudus doesn't love West Ham. He's a great player. I don't blame him for wanting to go elsewhere. If I was Kudus and I had his talent, I would be the same. He's got no ties to West Ham. They've got short careers. he deserves to be playing for one of the top clubs. He was wiggling his arse for a move on TV against the biggest club in the country, potentially the world, yesterday. And he was fantastic. He did it for about half an hour. But even that management, how good was Kudus out on the right? Second half, what does Lopetegui do? Puts him out on the left, where he's completely nullified again. Alvarez was absolutely fine yesterday in midfield, probably the better of the midfielders. He comes off. Why? What's Somerville got to do to start? Guilherme, the useless Guilherme. He was on for 10 minutes. He looked lively as hell. You can see how fast he is. Created a chance for himself, chopped in on his left-hand side, had a beautiful shot, which was deflected onto the post. It was on target. Really, really good shot, similar to goals that he scored for Palmeiras before. I've seen people saying, oh, he's crap, he ain't good enough. Well, I'll give your heads a wobble. How can you call Lopetegui useless on one hand and then start calling players like that we haven't even seen yet useless because Lopetegui won't use him? Of course it's political. Of course there are reasons why. He's not useless. He does understand football. He knows that Kudus is better on the right than he is on the left. But there's political games going on there. Lopetegui and Steiten, like Moyes and Steiten, don't like each other, and he doesn't want to make his players look good. Kilman, the player that Lopetegui insisted on bringing in, the geezer can't defend. I said it yesterday, he's good at everything other than what you want a defender to be good at. He's brilliant on the ball. He's got good passing. He can drive through the middle of the pitch. But he's a defender. He needs to be good at defending. He ain't. He absolutely shits himself when he gets in a one-on-one situation. Dinos, just gone to pieces. Tadebo's the most casual defender I've ever seen. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, 1 minute he's a world beater, next minute he's a lazy arse. I'm sorry. I love Wan-Bissaka. But the geezer yesterday, if you go back and watch any of the clips from their goals, he was out on that left-hand side. Now, there's no way he's being told to not sprint back and help when we're under the cosh. He's just jogging, almost at a standstill when we're being attacked. He's a defender. If he was put out on the left, he has to have been put out on the left to double up on Salah. He has to have been. But he was never anywhere near him. But then again, if that was his role and he wasn't carrying it out and he wasn't fulfilling what Lopetegui wanted, why was he not hooked? So maybe he was carrying out orders. I don't know. The whole thing stinks. Lopetegui, by default, is useless. He's absolutely useless. One of the worst managers I've ever seen. This team has no chemistry whatsoever. None. They don't look like they like each other. They don't. There's nothing there. If you look at Wolves, have a look at Match of the Day. I know it's difficult. I did put myself through it last night. But if you have a look at Wolves and what that Pereira bloke, he's been there 3 games, the changes that he's implemented already, they're playing completely differently. You're starting to see his philosophy play out on the pitch after 3 games with the same players, no recruitment. After 3 games. All this he needs time, bollocks. To see something, anything. We've seen nothing. Not a thing. He's been here, 6 months now with pre-season? But we haven't seen enough. It hasn't got bad enough yet to get rid of him. It's got to get worse. It's got to get much worse before Sullivan pays this man off, admits his mistake, and moves on to his next mistake. Because it's going to be Sullivan that picks the next manager. It's going to be Potter all day long. Although I would take Potter over what we've got. You talk about nepotism. As I've already said, it is true. Potter's wife is best friends with Karen Brady. So if Potter does turn out to be shit, we're going to have to wait a long time for him to get sacked. So let's hope he does kick on and he is successful. Yeah. And it's going to be Sullivan doing all the recruitment in January as well. It ain't going to be Tim. Tim's out there searching for players like he has done, but they're all working in silo at the minute. It must be, Steiten must be tasking Tim with the job. But at present, Steiten doesn't have the power, so Sullivan's having fun at the moment. While he's in control, I don't know. If it is a 3-year transition, maybe Sullivan's just doing his best to fuck it all up. He's doing a good job. But look, for me, I'm fast approaching the end for West Ham, for myself. I won't be able to do this forever. A lot of fans have binned it off already. I ain't gone yet. My passion for the club and the love for the club is it's going to go. I'm going to get little dead cat bounces like I did yesterday. I do still love the club, of course I do, but long term, if things don't change, then what's the point? It's impossible to commentate on this. It's like commentating on a car crash with your loved ones in it. It is. I know that's a bit extreme, but it's just heartbreaking. You know, you've got the fan base that are constantly out to get each other the whole time. You know, you've got people out there at the moment, we lose 5-0, and the first thing that people can think of is saying, well, you wanted possession-based football. This is what you asked for. Nobody asked for this. Why would you do that? Why would the first thing that comes to your mind would be to attack other West Ham fans? What's in your heads? You know? It's not our fault. It's no one's fault apart from the people that are running the club. They're the experts. They're the ones with the money. They're the ones that are supposed to be making these decisions. And the reason that they're managing to do what they're doing is because we are as divided as we are. You know, you stick any 4 West Ham fans at the moment in a room, we'll all be arguing. We can't agree on anything. And that's why we're so easy to dominate and fuck around, because we're not galvanised. Divide and conquer. It's an easy job with West Ham fans, unfortunately. Sullivan's got the perfect club to dismantle. But look, anyway, that is it from me. I'm really, that's gone on much longer than what I expected. But yeah, I don't know anymore. I don't know. It's not fun, is it? It's not fun. Anyway, look, I love you all. Thanks for watching me in 2024. We're going to carry on, obviously, in 2025. And we'll see how it plays out. But I certainly can't do this long term. I can't do it long term because it's miserable and I don't want to. So hopefully we see some changes soon, because I don't even want to watch them anymore. I don't, you know. It's only this that's making me do it. I think I would have been one of the ones that would have gone by this stage. I think I would have definitely walked away. So yeah, look, anyway, going to let you all go. Speak to you all soon. Come on, you irons.